Good morning, and welcome to the IPF Know Before You Go webinar. We're happy to have you here today as we prepare to gather in New York City in just 4 short weeks. My name is Nick DeMichael, and I am the Senior Director of Marketing and Creative Strategy here at Oceantic Network. Today, we're going to be covering some logistical and content points ahead of the conference, including details about the venue, how to prepare, spotlighted workshops, information for Oceantic members, some highlights for our international delegations, and more. For those of you unfamiliar with IPF, the International Partnering Forum is the premier global renewable marine energy conference brought to you by us at Oceantic Network. At IPF, we bring together stakeholders from across the energy supply chain, government bodies, and thought leaders to help shape the next year's worth of progress and development. IPF consists of content workshops, an exhibit hall showcasing the latest advances in technology and services, as well as plentiful networking opportunities both during the day and throughout the evening. IPF is brought to you by Oceantic Network. We are a membership-based nonprofit whose mission is to advance the marine renewable energy industry by bringing together innovators through events like IPF, digital tools, databases, working groups, and more. If you are not yet a member of Oceantic Network, you can still join, even today, by visiting the link on your screen. To begin, let's zoom out and cover some of the basics of IPF. If you haven't already, be sure to register at 2026ipf.com. And content for the week will begin on Monday evening for Oceantic members. That begins with the member meeting and the member reception. Content will continue throughout the week, all the way through Friday, February 12th. And this year, we are excited to bring you a host of co-located events, which will be happening at the same time in New York City. And my colleagues will be talking about that a little bit more here in a bit. You can register for them directly on the 2026 IPF website. We highly encourage all IPF attendees to book your rooms on site at the Sheraton New York Times Square as soon as possible. Some rooms still remain within the reserved block, which does offer a significant discount and allows you to stay on site right next to the conference content, avoiding Manhattan traffic and commuting time. It will be February in New York City, so it will be chilly. Be sure to check the weather and bring layers. We also advise you to please bring a refillable water bottle. We will have refilling stations throughout the event. Now, before you arrive at IPF, please make sure to set some goals for your time in New York City. Try to identify who you'd like to meet with and which exhibits you would like to visit on the exhibit floor. The most successful IPF attendees come prepared with a plan. Scope out the agenda, which is now available online and in the app, to make a schedule for yourself ahead of arriving. Speaking of the app, it is now officially ready for attendees to access. You can download the app on both Apple and Android devices using the QR code shown right now on your screen. The app is your one-stop shop for all things related to IPF, including the full agenda, a map of the venue, push notifications that we'll be distributing during the event, and our Current Connections networking platform. If you were familiar with WindMatch, you will recognize Current Connections. Current Connections allows you directly in the Oceantic app to request meetings with other IPF attendees to make deals, discuss strategies and technologies, and introduce your business. Current Connections is now available in the Oceantic app, and instructions can be found at 2026ipf.com. Current Connections is brought to us by our partners over at Latham & Watkins, and we thank them. Lastly, we do encourage you to share your participation at IPF. We have a host of materials, including customizable social graphics and copy, available on the IPF website for speakers, attendees, exhibitors, and those just wanting to share their participation. Be sure to tag us, Oceantic Network, so we can reshare ahead of and during the conference. Now, to go over some more logistics, I'm going to hand things off to my colleague, Jordan Sampson, Oceantic's Vice President of Events. Jordan?
Thanks, Nick. All right. Oceantic Network is excited to host this year's International Partnering Forum in New York City, a global hub known for its iconic landmarks, unmatched energy, and spirit of innovation. As one of the world's most connected and influential cities, New York City provides the perfect backdrop for IPF, bringing together industry leaders, policymakers, and innovators in a place where big ideas, bold partnerships, and global impact naturally converge. This year, IPF will be hosted at the Sheraton New York Times Square, which will serve as both our primary event venue and official hotel room block location. Centrally located in the heart of Manhattan, the Sheraton offers meeting space, modern accommodations, and the convenience of having conference sessions, networking, and lodging all under one roof. With easy access to transit, dining, and iconic New York City landmarks, the Sheraton provides a seamless and comfortable home base for the IPF experience. We also want to take a moment to talk about safety. New York City is a large, busy, global city, and it's also one of the safest major cities in the country. Our venue is located in Midtown Manhattan, which is well-traveled, highly populated, and has a visible security and police presence throughout the day and evening. Like any city, we always encourage attendees to use basic situational awareness, especially when moving around at night or exploring on your own. Stick with friends when you can, keep personal items secure, and use taxis or ride shares if you're heading further out. The IPF exhibit hall is the heart of the event, bringing together leading companies, innovators, and organizations that span the full spectrum of marine renewable energy. Over 3 days, attendees can explore the latest technologies, connect directly with industry experts, and discover solutions helping to shape the future. Light breakfast will be provided on 2 mornings, with lunch served on 2 afternoons. Coffee and beverages will be available throughout the event to help keep you fueled and focused. As Nick mentioned earlier, don't forget to pack a reusable water bottle, as water coolers will be available throughout the event space. Meaningful connections are at the core of IPF, and dedicated meeting spaces are available throughout the event to support networking. From the networking lounge and current connections in the Lenox Ballroom to the Oceantic Network booth in the exhibit hall, you will find intentional spaces to meet. Plus, there are additional chairs and informal meetup spaces throughout the Sheraton Hotel. This year, we're excited to offer co-located events that give the opportunities to connect and learn alongside the IPF program. These independently organized events take place during IPF week and complement the main conference experience. A dedicated landing page is available with few details and registration links on 2026ipf.com. IPF registration is not required to attend co-located events, as each has its own separate registration process. So please visit the website to learn more, dates, times, descriptions. If you are interested in hosting a co-located event, you can also submit one for inclusion on our page. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Bettina Geisbuehler to talk a little bit about some of our member engagement and international delegations.
Thanks, Jordan. We're so excited to welcome you, especially our members, to IPF in New York City. And I would like to give a quick Thank you and shout out to our members who have renewed for 2026. If you haven't renewed yet or are interested in joining Oceantic, please reach out to me. As a member, there are many perks at IPF and not just the reduced registration ticket. We're here to help you with connections, whether it be through the current connections, formerly WinMatch that Nick mentioned, or during conversations with our membership team. So if there's any company you're really interested in meeting with, please reach out to us. Members are also encouraged to use the Supply Chain Connect registry and our market dashboard tool to prepare for IPF. Also access the Member Resource Center for reports, toolkits, and member lists. And if you don't have access to the Member Resource Center, please reach out as well. Finally, we have our member meeting on Monday from 5 to 6 in the Sheraton Empire Ballroom East, followed by our reception also in the Sheraton. We're really excited to see everyone there. And next. Yes, and during IPF, please stop by the Oceantic Network booth and pick up a member badge or pin. They're little pins that you can use and share your commitment to Oceantic and share that you are a member. And then finally, every year we welcome many international delegations and companies to IPF. And I'm really excited about our official delegations from Belgium, Netherlands, Norway, and Poland. And we are hosting a little casual international delegation meet and greet on Wednesday evening. We'd love to see you there. And this is always a great way to connect with international companies. Look forward to seeing you there. We will announce where this happy hour will be taking place soon and hope everyone can attend. And of course, if there's any questions about international companies attending or any delegations, please reach out to us. And now I'll hand it over to Carly Milligan, our content director, to talk more about our amazing programming. Carly, over to you.
Thanks so much, Bettina. I appreciate that. Hi, everyone. If you don't know me, my name is Carly Milligan. I'm the content director here at Oceantic, and I oversee the IPF agenda. I'm excited to highlight just a handful of the sessions, panels, and workshops we'll be having at this year's Energy at Sea conference. My overview is only going to skim the surface of what we have to offer, so I encourage you to take a look at the agenda and explore it for yourself, or you can ask a question in the Q&A about whether a specific topic will be addressed, and I can point you in the right direction when we get to that part of the webinar. So what is new at IPF? We've got quite a few changes coming up for this year's program. First of all, we'll have 2 stages with all-day programming starting Tuesday morning through Thursday afternoon, and over 100 speakers representing a range of industry, state and local government, national labs, unions, academia, nonprofits, and much more. We'll continue broadening our reach topically with sessions that go beyond the world of offshore wind. We'll be taking a close look at the fast-growing ocean economy alongside our usual slate of sessions addressing every facet of the offshore wind industry. And for the very first time, I'm excited to say that IPF will offer 2 sessions that are eligible for continuing education units, or CEUs, through Oceantic Network's recent IACET accreditation. More information on that can be found in our agenda alongside those related sessions. So let's dig in a little deeper. We'll kick things off Tuesday morning with our opening plenary session, and this year's theme is Designing a Durable American Model. We'll hear from leaders who will reflect on where we've been and the lessons we've learned, and we'll lay out where industry stands today and forecast how we can build a more resilient model for the future. At the plenary, you'll hear keynote remarks from Oceantic CEO Liz Burdock, as well as the President and CEO of NYSERDA, Doreen M. Harris. We'll also have a panel discussion with speakers to be announced in the coming weeks, so stay tuned for that. Later on Tuesday, we have several more presentations, fireside chats, and panels planned for throughout the day. But in this particular session, Unlocking Scale, Regional Procurement and Action, speakers are going to explore some of the strategies that states can employ to improve how they handle the procurement process. In this discussion, we have representation from a state energy agency, a state utility, a global engineering firm, a leading energy consultant, and an attorney who's an expert in energy infrastructure projects. I had the opportunity to meet with this group earlier this week to prepare for their discussion, and I can assure you it's going to be one you won't want to miss. Also on Tuesday, we'll have conversations about regional grid and transmission efforts, project economics, and a breakdown of recent legal and legislative sessions that I imagine will be of great interest to our attendees. Wednesday morning, we'll begin the day with a breakfast session focused on the fast-growing ocean economy. You can expect to hear from a wave energy developer, the National Hydropower Association, managers in the National Water Power Deployment and Commercialization Office, and much more. So stay tuned for a detailed session with more information coming soon. This breakfast is really the beginning of a series of other sessions taking place throughout IPF Week focused on this broader ocean economy, including a close look at technologies such as wave and tidal energy, floating solar PV, floating nuclear power plants, and much more. Also on Wednesday, we'll be continuing our focus on grid and transmission. This session is just one of 4 taking place at IPF on the topic and led by members of the Northeast States Collaborative on Interregional Transmission and the Points Consortium. These 2 initiatives are focused on expanding interregional transmission ties along the Eastern Seaboard, and some of you may have tuned in earlier this week for a webinar in which they presented some of their findings that they'll expand on more at IPF. Check the agenda for detailed information on the other grid and transmission sessions, or reach out if you have any questions. Closing us out on Wednesday, I want to put a special spotlight on this discussion about supply chain and steel. To kick it off, our Oceantic Network Senior Vice President of Market and Policy Strategy, Sam Salustro, is going to present findings from a new study that showcases the overall opportunity the U.S. offshore wind market presents for steel producers in the U.S. We're then going to move into a discussion about the current actions and activities having an impact on the economics of domestic content, sponsored by JSW. And finally, on our last day, Thursday, we'll close out with a very exciting keynote. The Premier of Nova Scotia, Tim Houston, will deliver remarks about his province's target to develop offshore wind in Atlantic Canada. The project Wind West represents a path toward up to 62 gigawatts of reliable clean power and an opportunity for binational energy collaboration with the US. After Premier Houston's remarks, we'll have a panel discussion about the topic featuring speakers representing Nova Scotia and the states of Maine and Massachusetts, among others. Thank you all for tuning in. We're going to shift into the Q&A portion of this webinar in just a second. So if you have any questions, please drop them in the chat. And if you haven't already registered, you can do so by scanning this QR code and get the process started right now. Let's see if we've got any Q&A in our audience. I haven't seen.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it, Carly, but there is on the right-hand side an option to drop in any questions that you may have. You can also drop them in the chat. Let us know comments, concerns. We can help you with anything. If you can't think of any questions now, you can always email our registration inbox if you have any questions. We're always happy to help support. This webinar will also be available online. So you can find it on 2026ipf.com. And if you are a member, it will also be available in the Member Resource Center. All right, it looks like Tom. Hi, Tom from New York. Will there be a list of attendees available? Yes, so if you want to go ahead and download that mobile app, there is an option to take a look at attendees there. So you can definitely grab that on the app.
And Jordan, remind folks, when can they begin picking up their registration badges? Is that starting on Monday?
Yep, so registration opens Monday afternoon at 2:30. So you can go ahead, pick up your badge, check in, kind of get a lay of the land. We'll be there until about 6 p.m. on Monday.
And of course, they can pick it up any other day throughout the week too.
Yes, yep. Yep, registration is open throughout the week. So pop on down if you have some time. All right, last call for questions before we wrap it up. Like I said, this recording will be available on the IPF website as well as the Member Resource Center, but we're always available through email. So shoot us over an email if you have any questions that you can't think of now. Thank you, Nick and Bettina. and the IPF team, and we'll see everybody in a short few weeks.
Thanks,
All right.
Jordan and all.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.